I'm back. It's been about a year since I did the last video, and it's been a bit of an interesting year, of course. But mostly I haven't been doing an awful lot of cooking. Most of the cooking I've done is on Instagram. So I'm trying to make a video again, and I'm coming back to probably my favorite online Indian chef, which is Latif's Inspired. He's been doing a series of recipes, like one-pot recipes for easy to cook at home. And I saw tonight that he'd done a vindaloo, and I thought, I need to make a video, I need to try this. I really need to have something nice and tasty because I haven't had a curry fix for a while. So we're going to go and do it. I'm going to try and set it up. I'm not sure if this video will ever see the light of day, as I might just stop videoing and just eat. Well, let's see how it goes. Okay. So here we go. I've done all the prep. That's the chicken thighs all put up. Should be 500 grams, but it's about 600 and something. That's some ghee, some salt, the spice mix. I've actually don't have a food processor, so the tomato there is done with a blender. I got oil ready, got kasuri methi ready, chopped onions, pinch of garam masala there, rice wine vinegar ready, chopped up potato, much more than was supposed to be done, and then we some chopped garlic, which is a bit more than normal, and a little bit more ginger, and some cardamom and bay leaves. I hope it works okay. So we're going to start. I need to start measuring out the oil, and first I'm going to chuck in the ghee. Well, maybe the wrong way around, but it doesn't really matter. I've turned the heat a little bit low because I'm quite slow, and I need 4 tablespoons of oil for this, which seems like a lot, but I'm using sunflower oil, kind of vegetable oil or something, but it's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Seems like a lot of oil, but let's see how it goes. Now, not really sure. I don't think I need to let the ghee melt and everything else yet. What I will be using is a spatula instead of a big thingy, because this is a non-stick pan. It's one of my woks that have been bashed around a lot. Let that mix and heat a little bit. I do have a really cool device which actually gives me the temperature. Let's see if it's working. Okay, so there we go. Oh, it's up to 130 degrees. I hope you can see that, I'm not sure. But let's see how it goes. So the next things I have to do is add in a few bits and pieces. So I should add in the, it should be 1 bay leaf, but I'm using 2 because they're a bit smaller. Some cinnamon bark. And I should be using some cardamom pods, which should be crushed, which I haven't done yet. Let's crush them a little bit. I'm going to get some kind of flavour out of them. There we go. I'm putting in 3, should be 2, but I've got a few more ingredients as well in there. And actually, that's not hot enough. First mistake. Okay, let's ramp up the temperature to about halfway. Max on this one is about 12. I don't have gas, but it should really be going sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. We got a little bit of a sizzle going there, and that's because it's not it's something else. What's that? Probably a piece of onion. Okay, everything else is starting to bubble up a little bit. Let's mush it around a bit and see where we go from there. Put the oil away, we don't need that anymore. Right, next thing to go in is supposed to be the onion, if I remember correctly. Again, this is always a problem. Oh geez, that's a lot of onion. Okay. Let's whack that in, mix it around a little bit. This is going to take a long time, I think. It's way too much onion. So, mistake number 2 probably. Let that heat up a little bit. Stick that in there. This is always the problem when you take a complete amateur or an idiot like me and you want to actually try to do stuff. Right. So, normally I should be adding the ginger and the garlic about now, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Ginger and garlic. Again, I made a mistake with the ginger and garlic. I've got way too much garlic, so I did a whole clove. So I've added an extra little bit of ginger as well. Let's just stick that in. I don't want it too hot because I don't like burning ginger and garlic and stuff, so we'll stick that in there for the moment. A bit more. I have a little bit more chicken thigh as well, and the recipe says, but not to worry. So that's ginger and garlic, and I'm supposed to put in the salt as well at the same time. That's a teaspoon of salt. I don't put in extra salt because I'm not supposed to have a lot of salt. And let's mix it around, give it a bit of cook for a little while. Now normally I should cover this. Let's get it up. I should cover it for a little while. I'm not sure if this bloody wok is going to be big enough actually. By the time I get spuds in there and everything else. Okay, we'll manage somehow. Let's mix it around a bit. So we forgot to give this a few minutes cooking. Let's find a lid that will actually cover this pan. I don't have a tight fitting lid unfortunately, but that one's okay. So let's stick that on and see how it goes. Oh, this one doesn't actually have a vent in it. I thought I had a vent in one of the lids. Not to worry. So normally we have to cook this now for a few minutes. I have to look back at my notes because of course I don't know what I'm doing. We should mix it around, heat it through, mix it around for a little bit, and then we need to add a little bit of water. Actually a cup of boiling water. So let's put on the kettle. We stick the kettle on and see where we go from there. I'll come back, I'll stop for the moment and then come back once I'm ready with the kettle. So I've turned it up a little bit on the heat. The kettle is just boiling. Actually, the ginger and the garlic is starting to become nice and fragrant. I just leave that there for the moment. I'll come out and get my measuring cup. Now, the one thing I can't remember is whether it was a third of a cup or a full cup. So I'm going to put in mostly like a full cup. I've got some really nice copper cup measures here. Boiling water and mostly a full cup. So let's see how that goes. We'll cover it up and then we let it bubble away for a few minutes. And we'll come back to it. Actually, I'll give it a mix around first. We'll give it a mix around. It's on a fairly high heat. It's not on maximum heat because I tend to find that I burn things if I put on maximum for too long. So let's go and stick that underneath there so it gets some flavour out of it. Okay, let's wait for a while. I'll give it a few minutes. I'm going to cover it up and come back in about 5 minutes maybe. So it's been 6 to 8 minutes or something like that. And mistake number 4, I put in far too much water. There's still too much water in here, but we'll soldier on and see how it goes. And normally now I should mash up these onions, which is a new thing for me. I've never seen it before. Latif has been doing it a few times recently on some of these new recipes, so let's give it a shot. I hope these onions are cooked enough. And I don't have a metal masher, and oh well, starting to mash a little bit. Right, not quite ready yet because the onion probably is not cooked enough. Let's have a fork or a knife. Try out a knife. Although they're quite soft. Oh, maybe I just have to mash harder. Let's give it a shot. So it's probably too wet or something, because none of these are they're not really mashing that well. But I think it just needs a lot of work. I'll keep working it. I'll probably speed this part up from here on out, and let's see how it goes. Not working very well. I need a metal masher, I think, for this in future. I'm spilling stuff and all sorts of stuff going on. Let's whack up the temperature and see if I can boil off some of this water to make it a bit better. basically I probably had too much water, and so it won't actually cook out of it. Okay, it's a learning curve. Let's see, we'll boil off some of the water and then we'll try mashing it a bit. In the meantime, we're going to turn this around here. You might be able to see that I'm actually cooking rice at the same time, if I can get it to work. There's my rice cooker. Let's zoom out a little bit. Oh, that's in. There's the rice cooker cooking my rice, so it should be ready for when we're fully ready, but we're still a long way to go. Now back on the pan. I should have a professional cameraman or something like that here, because I am not very good at this. Okay, that looks okay. Let's do the mix around. I probably should have cooked this on high, and I didn't. I cooked it on a sort of a medium. But then again, with electricity, it's not as easy probably as with gas or something like that. That's my excuse anyway. Let's see how it goes. Now the liquid's going down a bit. So even without spices or anything else, with only the bay leaf and the cinnamon and the cardamom in here, it's quite a nice smell. Let's see if we can mash it a bit now. Not the easiest thing in the world, but it's going a little bit better, at least now. There's still some very large onion pieces in here. But again, it's all probably to do with the fact that I probably didn't slice it right, or I sliced it a little bit too thick. Who knows? But now it's starting to at least go down into a mush. Starting. Again, I'll probably speed up from here and let's see how we can get it down into a mush. I'm going to turn it down a little bit because it's spitting at me like crazy. The onion is actually starting to mush up quite nicely. We may be able to recover this yet. I'm going to keep doing this and see what actually happens. We will not probably have all of this on the video if we make a video from this. Bring it over. Bring it over. It's not quite like potatoes. I'm a really good potato masher, but that would be normal me being Irish. Anything to do with potatoes is my way of doing things. That's still not enough. There's still too many big pieces in here. But that could also be I didn't give it enough, I had too much onion and it needed a longer cooking time before starting to mash. This is something to learn. Now the onion is getting very soft as it's cooking. But I'm getting more of a mush, let's say. I'm going to keep working this. I'll shut up for a while so I can speed it up and we'll see how it goes. Okay, that's starting to look pretty okay. Let's see what's next. Notes. Where are my notes? I think I have to add the spices next. It's still not as good looking as what Latif had on the thing, but it's mostly mushed. There's still a couple of big pieces in here. Let's see if we can add the spices in. So these are the spices. I've measured them out. There's about 5, because I like it hot. There's about 5 teaspoons of chili powder. There's a half teaspoon of turmeric. There's 2 teaspoons of curry powder. That's a Madras curry powder I'm using. It's not the same as you get in England probably, but it's okay. Then we got some cumin, 1 teaspoon, 2 sweet teaspoons of coriander powder, I believe. So let's whack all those in. And now we're supposed to mix around and get it into kind of a thick mush or something like that. Let's see how we go. That's not too bad. It's not too liquid. It's a good idea. I burnt everything, but I got everything to go off. Let's mixy and try and get it in. Now, if I remember the video from Latif, it was a bit more brown than this one, so I probably have to mix it a lot. Now it's starting to look not too bad. There's still a lot of big bits of onion. So my mashing wasn't very good, even though I'm an Irishman, I can make mashed potatoes. Oh well. Amateur. Well, let's check the notes. Do I have to cook this first, or do I have to leave it for a while and then add in something else? Normally, I guess, if I remember correctly, you don't have to cook out spices. Then I need to add the tomatoes. So this tomatoes is very liquid because it's I use my hand blender to actually put it out and put it in. So it's because I don't actually have a food processor here in the apartment. But okay, let's see how we go. Looks okay. Let's mix it all in. And I think I'm going to have to turn it down because it's catching a little bit. It's starting to look like a curry sauce at least. Right. Now, check the notes. I think I have to cook this for a little while. Turn it down quite a bit, I think. It's spitting at me. The problem with this is all the prep and trying to video at the same time takes up so much time. I really respect who actually make all these videos and have the time to do it. Okay, add the tomatoes, mix it all, cover until the spices separate is what I saw on my thingy, so let's cover it up. I probably have to add some water to this at some point because it's bubbling away. Let's keep it there. Okay, we should cook this for at least a few minutes. So let's give it 4 or 5 minutes, and then we'll come back, add the vinegar, then the chicken, and cook the chicken for a while. So let's go and do that. We will stop for a second because I'm not sure if my battery will last this long. So we'll stop here. Well, it's been about 6 minutes or a little bit more, and the spices had started to separate, and I was starting to get some of the oils out, and then I mixed it around, and it doesn't look the same. We're starting to get a little bit here, but it's okay. So now I should add the vinegar. Problem I've got is that I don't actually have the same kind of vinegar. I don't have apple cider vinegar. I'm going to use a rice vinegar, and from the nose and how it smells, it's actually not as strong as normal vinegar, I think. So it should be 1.5 tablespoons, so I'm going to put in 2. Or just under 2 actually. So that should be okay. Let's give that a mix around. Then I'll check the notes to see what I should do. It's on a pretty low heat at the moment, sort of medium to low. The actual sauce is starting to look a bit like a curry actually, it's looking quite nice. Let's check my notes, which is not so easy. Notes, okay. So, add the vinegar. Mix well, then add the chicken. Wow, we're getting to the chicken. Hey! So this is the chicken thighs. It's about 600 grams of chicken thighs. Let's chip it in there. And that away here. Let's mix it around. I have cubed this up, and oh my god, there's a lot more sauce than there is chicken. But luckily I got loads of potato, so let's mix this around. I think I should put it back up to high heat. Turn it right up to high, get it really cooking. Cooking on gas, but I don't have any gas, so we're cooking on electricity instead. Alright, let's mix. Get everything really well coated. The only good thing about this is the chicken should take up a lot of flavour from the sauce and the spices, hopefully. Let's get a bit higher. I'm not going to max, actually, I'll go to 10. Hope the chicken doesn't boil. I should get this really working. If I remember what the notes say. This is the thing, when you're a complete amateur, you actually need your notes all the time. The pros seem to just know what they're doing. Here we go. Add the chicken, turn to high, mix well, and then lower. It's not bubbling enough, I think, so I'm going to let it come up a bit more to temperature. Luckily, it's not too liquid. It's looking quite nice, actually. And then I need to sort of lower the heat a little bit once it's all really bubbling away. And then I need to cook it for at least 3 to 4 minutes, covered up. So, okay, let's cover it up and then see where we go. Okay, I'll come back in a few minutes. Hopefully my battery won't run flat because I don't have a spare one. There you go. Cover it up. I will turn it down a little bit to about halfway and hopefully that will do it. Okay, let's wait for a while. So, it's been about 5-6 minutes, a little bit longer than they actually suggest. What's really nice is, as you can see here, hopefully you can see here, the spices have started separating, the oil has started separating, so it's, it looks like it's cooking correctly. So the next thing to do is I think, to add the potatoes. I've got them in the nuker at the moment to try and speed up because I'm starving and it's getting very late. But I'm not starving because I'm big and fat and I've got plenty of reserves. Let's see how it goes. So what does the instructions say? Well, instructions say to add the spuds. So let's take them out of here. I stuck them in here in the microwave just to heat up and start cooking through a little bit. Now, there's a lot more potato here than in the recipe, as usual for me, because I absolutely, as I mentioned many times, being a stereotypical Irishman, I love my potato. So, there goes the potato being chucked in. I need to mix it around and start getting things all nicely coated. I probably need to check the messaging on or check my instructions to make sure I need to switch up the heat. That's a lot more potato than anybody else I would probably use in the proper curry. But for me, this is going to be perfect. More potato, better. The only problem sometimes is spuds give out liquid as well, and they give out a little bit of a strange flavour occasionally when in this kind of very big dishes. But okay, let's see if we can do it. Chuck them over here, mix them around a bit. Check me notes. Notes say add the spuds, mix, cook for another 5 minutes or so. Let's change temperature up to 120. I'm going to switch back to the level because I can't be handling that. And whack it up in temperature here. 5 minutes is a bit strange for potatoes, but I'm going to give them in. I will probably give this about 10 or 15 minutes, to be perfectly honest, just to start to get the potatoes cooking properly. do I have to add more water? I think. Let's just double check. So, add the spouts, give it 5 minutes, and then we add boiling water. Okay, so then we basically cover this up. We cook it for about 5 minutes. Then we add some water, boiling water, and what we do then is we cook it for a bit longer to cook the potatoes. Right, so I was messing up again. Okay, let's cover up. Turn it down a little bit. And then we'll come back in a few minutes when I'm going to add the water and see where we go from there. So, it's been about 5 minutes since I actually added the potatoes. We'll have a look. God, it's looking like I could eat it right now, but I actually shouldn't. Okay, let's give it a mix. Yeah. Now I'm supposed to add at least a cup of water at this point, and then start cooking the potatoes until it's done. I'm not sure if I want a whole cup of water. Let's, but then I need the potatoes to cook. Let's check the potatoes first. See what's happening with them. Yeah, they need a lot of cooking. So I think it's going to take probably 10 or 15 minutes more to cook those potatoes, so I'm going to put the water in. Let's go and get some boiling water. Switch on the kettle. Get a cup. It should be about a cup of water. Let's see how it goes. It's really a nice thick sauce already. And this is the problem. I get a thick sauce halfway through the cooking, and then I mess it up by putting in too much water or too much something else. So let's see if we can do it right this time. Okay, boiling water. I'm going to give it most of a cup. Right, I'm not going to get any more than that. We'll give it a mix around. And then what we have to do is actually cook until the potatoes are cooked probably. Which means every few minutes, let's give it 3 or 4 minutes each time, and we will then see when the potatoes are cooked, and we'll go on to the next stage, which is the sort of garnish stage at the very end and the final cook-off. That looks quite nice. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Let's get this covered to fit. Unfortunately, I dropped this wok and it doesn't fit very well, but it's got a nice space. Let's turn it down to just under halfway. And let's start a timer. And then what we'll do is I will not film this part. I'm just going to come back every few minutes, check to see how the potatoes are doing, and then when they're ready, I will go on to the next stage. Okay? See you in a while. So, it's been a bit longer than expected. I have given it about 10 minutes. Let's give it a mix around. It really needs to thicken up a little bit. The potatoes are not quite cooked yet, but they're almost cooked. We've got a nice, the sauce is starting to thicken quite nicely actually when I mix it. So I need to add the almost final spices. Let's get the potatoes underneath as much as possible so that they cook a little bit more. The problem is that these potatoes are completely different from the German potatoes. So they're not the same as Mars pipe potatoes. They are quite a lot different. Turn it down a little bit more. Now I need to put in a couple of pinches of final spices to cook it for another 5 minutes. Let's get this one. This is kasuri methi, which is fenugreek leaves, I believe, that have been dried, and then supposed to put in 2 pinches. There's 1. There's 2. This is quite big pinches, but I'll give it an extra one as well because I like it. And then also a little bit of garam masala pinch. Normally I only put garam masala in at the start, but okay, let's give a pinch of garam masala around here. Oops. Oh, that's bad. I'm just spreading it everywhere. Do an extra bit. Okay, now we need to give it about 5 minutes more. And I can clean up a little bit as well. And we'll see how it goes. Okay, it's been just a bit over 5 minutes since I added the last 2 spices. Let's have a look. Oh, that actually looks really nice. The oil is separated, spices have cooked. That looks really, really nice. Let's give it a mix. Oh, that is looking mega. It's probably one of the better curries I've ever done because it's not as thick as I'd like it, but it also is not as runny and thin as normally. I normally put in way too much water and everything else. Okay, let's have a check and see how the potatoes are doing. Oh, that looks well done. Yeah, potatoes are cooked. So let's switch off the heat. Now the thing is, what I'm supposed to do is add the coriander. I'm not sure if I have to mix it in and then leave it rest for 5 minutes before serving on rice. Okay, let's take it off the heat. I've already switched it off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the camera and see if I can change the position. We'll move it over here and move the camera with it. There we go. So it's still recording and it's looking lovely. What I'm going to do is add, it should be a fistful of coriander, but I took out a packet of coriander and it's a double fistful, so I'm going to mix it in a little bit. Probably too much, but I do like coriander as well, so let's mix it in. And then we're supposed to leave it rest for about 5 minutes. That's actually way too much coriander, okay. But then again, if I don't use it up, it just goes off, so. Let's give this a final mix, cover it up, leave it rest for 5 minutes, and serve it on rice. And we'll come back with that. But it does smell good. And I promise I haven't tasted it yet. Okay, let's switch off the fan, close that down. And where is my timer? Start the timer for another 5 minutes and we'll come back when I dish up. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. We're going to do the big reveal on this, hopefully, and I've got my bowl ready with a bit of rice in it. Let's have a look. Ooh, looks nice. Let's give it a mix around. Not too thick. Looking really quite good. Let's get a dishing up spoon and have some for tonight. It's actually getting quite late, so I shouldn't have too much. Some chicken, some potato, some more potato, some more chicken, some sauce, and a little bit more sauce. And then let's go and eat. Oh, I love food. Well, we do have a bit of a problem here. It looks really, really nice. The chicken looks nice, the rice looks nice, it smells nice. I'm going to put an extra little bit of coriander on here. And then I'm going to taste just a piece of chicken and then I'm going to stop recording. Maybe. Let's taste it. That's actually really nice. The chili is not overpowering. I'm going to put in 5 pieces, 5 teaspoons. It's hot, not too hot. Coriander is a little bit strong because I put in a bit too much coriander probably. But we got a problem. The biggest problem is, normally with a curry and rice, you need a beer. Oh wow, there's an afterburner coming in now. It's really quite good. But I don't have any beer in the apartment, so I gotta have some wine. Got a little German wine here. I don't know if it's any good. It's semi-dry. Let's see if it's any good. It's a cheapy one, so it probably won't be very good. It smells okay. Oh, actually, it's not too bad. Let's have some potato. Good. Potato and curry, you can't beat it. Yay.